This week, Burkina Faso under the leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traore became the epicenter of a dramatic showdown between state power and extreme terror. Welcome to another interesting episode here on Walker Diary. The video you're about to watch underscores how one of the smallest countries in the continent of Africa successfully resisted neo-colonialism and tight grip of the West, which dates back several decades. Through the support of his countrymen and women, and with very well thought out and creative foreign alignment, this small country has successfully nurtured a formidable military force with some rare sophisticated weapons to combat insurgency and other enemy combatants. The landlocked Sahel country of Burkina Faso, under the leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traore, has scored yet another win over 1,000 terrorists linked to Al-Qaeda. Watch this video to the end to see what played out. Hello guys, my name is Walker and I'm your host here on Walker Diary YouTube channel, which consists of travel, adventures, lifestyle and authentic African stories that impact lives. So please subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so. That way you get to encourage me to create more beautiful videos like this. I also want to use this opportunity to say a very big thank you to my subscribers, every one of you, for helping me hit 10,000 subscribers mark even before the end of this month. Next up guys, let us hit 12k and keep the community growing. The Burkina Faso military deployed sophisticated but precise military-grade drone strikes, dealing heavy blow and finally neutralizing deadly terrorists who attacked certain districts in Burkina Faso in an attempt to destabilize the country and cause chaos. Now, according to credible intelligence and eyewitness accounts, over 1,000 terrorists linked to Al-Qaeda invaded certain districts of Burkina Faso while President Ibrahim Traore was on a trip to Russia to attend the Victory Day parade. However, what the attackers didn't expect is how prepared the Burkina Faso military is and how formidable they have become under the revolutionary leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traore. And thanks to military-grade weapons acquired from Russia, China, and North Korea. Walker Diary has it on good authority that Burkina Faso now has in its weaponry some high military-grade drones that are capable to neutralize groups of enemy combatants without needing to put their country's military personnel on the ground. Many believe that the attack on Burkina Faso wasn't a mere coincidence. In fact, sources within the country's intelligence agencies strongly believe that somehow the terrorists were tracking the movement of the president, waiting for a moment of vulnerability to strike. But instead of being caught off guard, President Ibrahim Traore had a different plan. When the threat was detected and reported to him, he instructed his forces not to engage immediately because he had a different plan and a more effective weapon ready for such circumstance. And within a minute, 3 military-grade assault drones were reportedly launched on the attackers. 2 black drones from North Korea were deployed in a V-shaped assault formation, heading the terrorists from local communities into the local surrounding forest. A white Chinese model drone hovered above, monitoring the movements of the attackers, and once they converged in the forest, the white drone descended and delivered precise strikes. Witnesses say it was a surgical operation. Some of the terrorists attempted to flee on foot and others by motorcycles, but they were immediately overpowered and neutralized, including a truck left behind by the militants for reinforcement. Drone rounded them up and delivered a strike, neutralizing them all without civilian casualties, the report says. The operation reportedly lasted less than an hour, but in the end, 1,000 militants were eliminated. While such level of precision warfare shocked many observers, it further demonstrated a significant leap and massive upgrade of Burkina Faso's defense capacity. But before the country could settle down to celebrate its victory over the insurgency attack, BBC Africa released a controversial report linking President Ibrahim Traore's government to the killing of over 100 civilians in the country. But in a counter, both local sources and media confirmed that indeed those supposed civilians were militants posing as non-combatants. For many in West Africa, the BBC's alleged hatchet job isn't just misinformation, but a deliberate attack sponsored by the West against the credibility of a rising African leader. This perception was further amplified by Nigerian-born renowned investigative journalist David Hundeyin. The backlash from many Africans immediately flooded the internet, all in defense of Captain Ibrahim Traore and accusing the Western media of double standards and attempting to discredit African leadership at every slight opportunity. Here in Africa, it is widely believed that when Western countries conduct operations that result to civilian casualties, they are framed as military operations, but when an African country defends itself, it is suddenly tagged a human rights violation. Several analysts have suggested that the criticism isn't anything about human rights at all, but about control of the resources of Burkina Faso, which Captain Ibrahim Traore, through the support of his people, have regained control over, leading to the massive repatriation of French government from the country. As more African leaders seem to be turning eastward for alliances with Russia, China, and North Korea, media narratives appear to be shifting in ways that delegitimizes those moves. Meanwhile, in its reaction, the government of Burkina Faso dispelled the claims of BBC Africa, adding that there were no civilians targeted in its operation, but that it acted on reliable intelligence backed with solid surveillance analysis. Now, whether or not we like it, the battle for Africa's narrative has begun, and it is not just fought with bullets or drones, but with headlines and hashtags, one that is framed towards taking control of Africa and its people. Meanwhile, across Burkina Faso and around Africa, the call for the support of the bravery of Captain Ibrahim Traore appears to be gaining so much momentum lately. From Ghana to Jamaica to even the diaspora, Africans appear to be uniting for one of their own this time around, and it is indeed a beauty to behold.
Traore is not going to be like Gaddafi, Amanda. We are going to stand in solidarity with Ibrahim Traore, Amanda.
We are in support of the president for the liberation of our black mother country, Africa.
That is really unprecedented.
We need to unite now.
Yes.
All our differences we must put aside.
Yes.
We are not our ancestors.
Yes.
This is our time.
Yes.
The time is now.
Yes.
Let's fight, African.
Yes.
Let's fight for our brother.
Yes.
He has started.
Yes.
He needs more leaders like him.
Yes.
The time is now. Viva Africa. Viva.
Meanwhile, I want your thoughts on this. Was the action of Captain Ibrahim Traore justifiable, or do you think the BBC report was a hatchet job? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. For the next 2 months, Wakadari is going to be showcasing the massive turnaround going on in Burkina Faso under the transformative and revolutionary leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traore. So far, I've shared some videos about Burkina Faso on a separate playlist on the channel tagged Burkina Faso. To encourage me on this voyage, please subscribe to my channel if you have not already done so, turn on post notifications, like this video to attract attention, and then share it across social media platforms, guys. Let's celebrate Africa. I'll see you on the next one, guys.